Hey listener, I hope you're excited for Heaving Bosom's Ask a Badass this week. But before we get to that, make sure to tune in to our episode on Monday, October 28th. We're doing part 1 of The Mark of the Midnight Manzanilla by Lauren Willig. It's our Halloween book set in England times. Or is it Sherlock Holmes times? Regardless, there will be spooky vampires and salad jokes. I was a tiny bit upset about the lack of on-the-page sexy times, but that's only because the characters, banter, sexual tension, and emotional arcs were so good. Definitely pick this one up. And now, get stoked for our spotlight on the one and only Blair. Sally Thorne superfan, Milo Ventimiglia lover, Slytherin to the core, and all-around wonderful person. Here we go! Okay, hi Blair.
Hi Natalie.
Hi. So for those of you guys that don't know Blair or that aren't members of the Geriatric Friendship Cult, I don't know what you're waiting for. Blair is probably one of the OG HBs.
If
cult,
I'm
right?
not, I made myself an OG.
You are the only Blair in the cult.
I check every time.
New HBs, who are you?
I'm like, any Blairs? Okay, good.
Yeah,
You're allowed.
So for those of you that are not, this is not going to be our very first episode. I don't think this is going to be maybe our second episode. Even though I told Blair that she was going to be first. I think I kind of like
my whole life is like this.
Just kidding. You're the first interview I'm doing. This is the Ask a Badass podcast segment, and this segment is basically kind of featuring all of the amazing listeners that Heaving Bosoms has, and it's also going to kind of explore the wide range of readership that romance has, and it's going to kind of be how all of the people in the cult and that listen to the podcast are like badasses in their own right, and have different things that they are passionate about and that they love, and we want to feature those every week. But I'm getting away from the really important feature of this whole segment, and that's Blair.
Oh, well.
Blair, how did you find the podcast?
So I am in a book club in Baton Rouge where I live. Should I say I live in Baton Rouge? It's fine. Anyway.
I don't plan on stalking you anytime soon.
Well, that's unfortunate.
There may be.
You're the one
I'm
person.
Kind of busy, but that's really my limiting factor. Otherwise, if I had endless time, I would be all up in Baton Rouge looking for you and Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes. So I'm in a book club, and there's actually a couple of HBs in the book club with me. Haley is one of them, and she told us about Heaving Bosoms after she listened to their Hating Game episode, and she knows how much I love The Hating Game by Sally Thorne.
If you are a member of the cult, you would also know how much Blair loves The Hating Game by Sally Thorne.
It is an
Sally
obsession.
Thorne recognized Blair in person because Blair interacts with Sally so much on Twitter.
It really made my life. I feel like
you're basically
I became
famous.
myself
Yeah,
at that moment, basically. But she told me about it, so I listened to the Hating Game episode, and then I just got sucked in, and I didn't stop. And I joined the Geriatric Cult, I think immediately. I don't think I waited around, and ended up making my own private Facebook account specifically so I could get on the cult because I didn't want to get on my regular Facebook.
Yeah, I definitely understand that feeling. And I think I didn't join the cult immediately because I was a little bit afraid it would be like other either reader groups or something like that were, I don't know what the right word is, because they're not negative areas.
Strong-willed?
They're just they're not for me. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I interact in some ways on other reader groups, and it's good. But I don't know. There's just something about the cult, and I know that Aaron and Mel say that too. And it's just a little bit different in the way that people interact with each other, and so I definitely understand that.
Yeah, it's more like a community than like, and you're not just fans of one author or one book.
Yeah,
like,
I think that might be it.
The entire
because there's so many good recommendations
genre.
Too. So we talked a little bit about Heaving Bosoms, but how did you find like romance in general?
So, actually, I found romance when I was really young, probably some people may think too young.
Echo that statement for myself. Okay.
But actually, so the first romance novel I read was Topaz by Beverly Jenkins.
I heard of her.
And my mom had it. Yeah, she's wonderful. My mom had it on a shelf. I don't remember a lot of details about it. I'm going to be honest. I do.
You were
I
young.
do remember me being like, yeah, I remember just thinking, wow, they're talking. This is sex.
There are sex in books.
But a lot of it. Because the first time I ever saw sex in a book was The Shining by Stephen King. I know, right? Like, that's horrific.
Is all sex in books like this? Uh-huh. Yeah,
I know. Because I read it and I just thought, whoa. They're talking about, like, I specifically remember him talking about her nipples. And me just being like, wait, is that what is he talking about, like, her actual
nipples? Could nipples mean something else?
Like, surely not. And so after I read that, I think it just piqued my interest of, there's sex in books. So I'm going to find more because, you know, healthy.
Yeah.
So anyway.
I mean, you got to have an outlet somewhere, you know?
Sure. So I found Topaz and I wish I could remember it. I don't think Beverly Jenkins will listen to this, but if she does, I apologize for not knowing.
Shout out Beverly Jenkins. We know nothing about your book. No offense.
And I think I was like probably 11 or 12. Like, I was, you know, so that was a long time ago. But then, you know, I didn't stop. We would go to Walmart and I would pick out the books that had the ripped bodice. Yeah, because it's just what I was interested in.
They had that cover. And, there was like on the outside, it was like just a white book. And on you had like a fold back cover that showed you what really was going on. Do you does everyone in your life know that you read romance and that you're like an avid romance person?
I'm pretty sure now, yes. There was a time in my life where I think Aaron and Melody have talked about this, where they were trying to be not that girl.
On a low about the,
Yeah, so I was like, I was a reader, and I read classics and stuff because I wanted to be cool. I wanted to be that person.
I've never been that person.
But they never interested me, really. There was a few that I was like, okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Pride and Prejudice.
I fully support people who like classics. I just cannot. And it's not, and they're not bad. Understand. In like, obviously they're well written. People love them. They're historical for a reason. It's just not for me.
No, I get you, because Pride and Prejudice was probably the first classic that I read that I was like, okay, so they don't all suck. Got it. No, just kidding. They don't suck, but they're just a lot.
Yeah, and they're like a commitment, right? It's like it's
especially like
it's a brain commitment. It's a time commitment. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I wanted to be the smart kid who read all the classics, and I tried, but secretly I would go home and like find my ripped bodice novels, and just read those. So, but now I'm very like argumentative to people who like kind of look down on romance novels.
I think we've all had that experience with somebody where they're like, "Oh, you read romance?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So everybody in my life who's close to me knows I read romance. Yeah, because I mean, especially after KissCon, I posted it all over my Facebook, and it's just like, I don't know. I don't think there's any shame in romance, so I'm not gonna hide it anymore. But I used to think that, so I understand.
Me too. It was like I think for a while I was like, I only read historicals. You know what I mean? Like that made it like it was history, so it was fine. I don't know. Logic doesn't have any place here in this story.
No, I literally only read the classic to look cool. So
perfect. So one thing that people may or may not know is that I have this that are listening to this, not you. You do know that I have a questionnaire that you filled out, and I just wanted to know how committed you were to your answers.
Okay, so when I answered the questionnaire, I was like 2 margaritas in, strong margaritas, and the next morning I vaguely remembered answering the questionnaire and thinking, what the hell did I put as my answers? But I remember some of them. I just don't remember all of them. And so I'm going to say, because I was drunk, I'm committed
100%.
to what I put.
Yes, I understand. So great. One.
I say that not knowing exactly what I put.
I think, I mean, besides the fact that you signed there be the one and only, I think
besides that, I think most of the answers were pretty good. You did maybe run on
perfect.
about current lady loves, but we'll get to that. One of the things you talked about in your questionnaire is that you write romance. Tell me more about that.
Yes. So I've been writing for years, but I started when I was probably early teens, and I started out writing fan fiction, and that used to be something I was very embarrassed about and never talked about.
Hold on,
And
really
now
quick
that I've
pause. What kind of
Go ahead.
fan fiction?
Gilmore
Uh-huh.
Girls. I wrote Gilmore Girls, Rory and Jess fan fiction. My pen name was Marley Cook. If you want to ever go look it up, anybody. But
Hold on, which website?
fanfiction.net.
Right.
I think is where I wrote most of it, and a lot of it is absolute shit. But in later years, like getting older, I don't think they were that bad in later years. Yeah, I used to hide that because nobody I knew in my high school or anything like that even knew what fan fiction was.
I don't think that I knew what fan fiction really was until the cult, to be honest. Because
Oh, wow.
So I am not a writer at all. So I think that's probably part of it, because when you're a writer, you're like, oh, I heard the story. It wasn't what I wanted it to be. I'm going to write a new one. Whereas a person who's not a writer like me is like, oh, I really didn't like that story. It's going to burn inside me for the rest of my life. And then I'm stuck with it.
See, I hated the way that Rory and Jess on Gilmore Girls ended. And so I'm like, no, I'm just going to write their own stories all the time. And Jess is going to get a happy ending every time. And
literally and figuratively.
Like, yes, he deserves it. But and so it wasn't until I actually joined the cult that I love saying that it's just so funny that I started seeing how normal it was for people to read and write fan fiction, and I was like, okay, well, I can freely admit this now and have no shame. So I did do that, and then I would actually start writing my own short stories. I wrote a short story in college that I loved and my professor loved. And then when I graduated college and went to law school, I stopped writing for a while.
Because you were burnt out?
Because I was burnt out. And honestly, the best thing, what I should have done was write during law school, because I think that would have helped my mental health a lot. But when I got out of law school, I missed it a lot. And so I started writing again, and I finished. I'm done writing my first novel. Sure. But I have to go through the editing process. And then
are you going to delete any chapters before you have to go to it?
I've already deleted a few, actually. And, but I deleted it, but I kept it in its own little folder just in case I liked the chapter later when I go back and read it. Yeah. So, but I finished it, and it's contemporary romance. And because that's mainly what I read, and I just don't have the research capacity in my brain to do historical and make it accurate. But I also like paranormal. There may be a paranormal.
Make a paranormal or like a fantasy historical, and then you could make up all your own shit.
That is very.
You know
true.
what I mean?
I could just set it somewhere else in another year and be like,
"This is actually
you didn't know it happened?
The Regency era on a different planet."
Oh yeah, that'd be perfect. I could probably handle that.
There you go. I fixed it.
But yes, perfect.
I'm not a writer. I'm just
dedicate the whole novel to you. If anybody hates this, it's Natalie's fault.
You can definitely do that. I'm a ghost, man. I'm just in the wind. Good luck finding me. Great. Tell me. Wait, hold on. Give a little blurb about what your story's about if you want to.
Oh yeah. Okay. So summaries are like the death of me. Anyway, the working title right now is called What Comes After. And it is about a woman named Eliza, who is a hairdresser, and she and her daughter move. She has a young daughter that she adopted with her husband. She and her daughter moved to live with her best friend since childhood after her husband passes away. So she meets a bunch of people in town that she becomes really close with. It's a small town, including a veterinarian who she meets. Actually, she meets him at first at his wedding because she is doing the makeup and hair for his bride. And she's in the room. This is at the very first chapter. She's in the room when the bride admits to him that she cheated on him. And so she's there when he gets basically stood up at the altar. And they don't see each other again for months, but then just keep running into each other. And eventually,
forever, and she probably saw him at his worst moment. And then he probably feels like he has to come back from that worst moment for their whole relationship.
Basically, because they're just friends at first, and because he's still healing from that, and she's still kind of healing from the death of her husband. So they're just built this really, it's like a friends to lovers. So they built this really good friendship. And then obviously, since it's a contemporary romance, it turns into more. And so I really enjoyed writing it.
Spoiler alert, they fuck kind of a thing.
Okay. Yes, there is no closed door in this book. All open.
Great. No fade to blacks. I understand.
Nope. And I try not to use any cringy words because I have cringe words that I can't stand.
So one person's cringe word is another person's moist. It's totally fine.
Oh no.
Sorry, I went there.
True.
It was probably, I could have had better choice. I could have used like tumescence or something like that.
I think you used the ultimate cringe word for most people.
I only want moist to be about cake. Like, let's just be real honest.
Honestly, the words that I don't like are all P words.
Oh, like to talk
I don't
about
like the
P
word
or
pleasure.
Okay, let's start with P. I understand.
Oh yeah. Don't talk about P to your sex scenes, please.
Hey,
thanks.
No king shaming in this podcast.
No, you're right. You're right. It's definitely no kink shaming.
But,
you do what you want to do.
There's no peeing in your book.
No.
Okay,
yes.
No problem.
So
sorry.
That.
Pleasure. Other P words.
Pleasure. Pulsating. Okay. Don't like that.
Not for me.
Try to think another one that freaks me out.
And there's a lot of just pulsating all over the romance world, right?
Hate it.
Yeah.
Hate it. And probing. I know aliens, but I just can't.
There's a lot of fingers and things doing that all the time. Yeah.
Yes. And so I learned it's a lot of, I don't mind the word pussy. I don't mind it. I do mind it if during sex he says or she says little pussy. Okay. Can't do that. That just takes me right out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Mainly
this
P
is
words.
all good information.
Just letting you know.
So you talked about like that your work in progress and writing in general. That's kind of what you're passionate about. Because one of the things that we wanted to do with Ask a Badass was our job. A lot of people's jobs are not what we're most passionate about. We do a job so that we can do other things that we like to do. And that's definitely where I'm at. And so I love it. I just really can't wait to read your book once you edit it.
I'm very in love with it, to be honest. Like there's days where I stare at it and I'm like, this is just trash. But there's other days that I'm very like I read old chapters that I wrote. That's what I do a lot. I'll set chapters aside and I won't read them back for a long time, and then I read them and I'm like, okay, Blair, that wasn't actually that bad. And but my two main characters I just love. Like I'll hear songs on Spotify that remind me of them and tear up sometimes because I love my characters so much. But I've spent so long with them.
How long have you been working on it?
Honestly, I was working on a completely different work in progress last fall. And then I had this idea in September of last year. And so from September to about last month, I think September to July is how long I wrote on that.
I like can't even fathom writing. I have written
it is
couple,
such a stress relief.
I have a weird fanfic. I guess it would be a fanfic. There was that Charlie's Chris's thing that went up on the cult, and I plotted out a whole part of that, but there's no actual words written. But I have it plotted. So like if someone said take that idea and like write an actual book, just let me know. It's sitting there waiting for you.
People do that. People do that.
Yeah.
I've heard there's authors that like have written so many books that now they just write a plot out and send it to a ghostwriter, which kind of makes me sad because I'm just like, but I loved you for so long and now you're telling me that your novels are no longer your novels.
For me, don't tell me who that is.
I will not tell you who it is for multiple reasons, but I've
definitely
heard
not on here. Maybe later. I'll decide.
They're not romance.
Oh, okay.
I'll say that.
Literally, I have not read a non-romance book. I think the last one I read was Everyone's Hanging Out Without Me by Mindy Kaling. Kaling? Yes.
I haven't read that, but I love memoirs. I actually do read non-romance a lot because I'm in the book club.
Oh, yeah.
And in book club, we don't read romance all the time. We occasionally read one. And so I read like a lot of different types of books and stuff.
Way to go.
But romance is my favorite.
I understand.
I
just can't.
If it has a love story in it, I'm in.
For me, it's the HEA. Like I'm a rabid DNF person. You know what I mean? Like I cannot. If there's a whiff of like children in trouble, goodbye. If there's like, like a whiff of like, no, but they could have just solved this with one conversation, I'm like, goodbye. And
no, I feel you.
Sorry, is it any of this affecting your book? Because I'll stop talking. Okay, good.
No, you're good.
If there's any any animals in danger, goodbye. Like I'm not.
So I will tell you this. In my book. No. In my book, her dog gets sick, but not bad sick, and he doesn't die.
I would never have thought you would have been a person that could kill a dog in a book.
I never would. I couldn't. I think it would ruin the whole HEA. I'd be like,
exactly. These human people. Yeah, these human people are having an HEA, but that dog person is not. So sorry, that doesn't count. All humans and dogs need HEA.
He had to be sick because he had to pull them closer. The hero's a vet.
I get it. I understand. He was a tool.
He didn't die.
Use this dog. I'm just going to throw it out there.
I did use the dog. I'm like, all right, damn it, you're going to get sick now.
This is okay. Chapter 4, dog gets sick. It was already part of the plot. Do you want to tell me more about your work in progress or anything like that, or what you're writing?
So actually, now that I'm done writing it and I'm just editing it, I'm also like plotting 2 different other works now. And I know it's because they're 2 completely different. One, I just started plotting 2 days ago, but I've plotted so much of it. And it came from in a conversation about witches. And I've never wanted to write a paranormal before, but I'm like, I'm writing this freaking book now. Yeah. And so I plotted I was going to make it like a series of these witch sisters. And so I plotted the middle sister's book already.
First of all, the fact that you didn't go in order. I'm not an order numbers person. And like, I kind of love that that's like how your brain was like, yeah, but this is what has to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
That's such a cool idea.
Because it's important in this family that I've made of these witches because the second born, there's a curse in her bloodline that she cannot produce children. Okay. And it's because every second born witch in this bloodline has like a little dark magic in their blood. And when they produce a child, that child becomes like a dark wizard or witch and
warlock,
fuck shit up. Mm-hmm. Sure. And
whatever you want it to be, it's witches.
Exactly. It's mine.
Yeah.
And so she basically is just like this wild, no ties to anyone, has sex with any warlock because she knows they don't want her for marriage because she can't give them kids anyway, and that's very important to wizards and witches is carried on their bloodline.
Do witches have IUDs or what happens there? Like, how do you make?
What I mean, I don't know. I feel like it'd just be really easy for them not to get pregnant because they're witches.
Like a gorgon in there or something like that.
Yeah, but lucky for her, she just can't. Yeah, okay. She can't have kids because of the curse. So she meets a witch hunter who's a human and doesn't know he doesn't know she's a witch. She doesn't know he's a hunter really yet at first. So it's kind of a love story between those two. And then her oldest sister's the one who's like has to be arranged marriage to this warlock because she has to carry on the blood, blah, blah, blah. She doesn't want to be. But I wanted to write the second sisters first. So I've plotted out her whole freaking book, and I haven't started really writing it yet. And then my other work in progress, I've written about 15,000 words on.
Can you maybe do for like people who are bad at book math? How many pages is that?
15. Oh God. Okay. So
like, or like is that like a
a
quarter of the book?
That's about almost a quarter. So basically, usually for a contemporary romance, your first draft's between 80 and 100,000 words. Okay. And so mine is 85,000 words, mine that I'm finished with. And this one's probably, I don't know, a little less than a quarter of the way done.
Right.
And I don't write linearly.
Okay.
I write
like you want this to happen, so you'll write that scene later on,
Yes.
and then you want this to happen later,
Yes.
so you'll write that scene because you want it to be fresh and in your mind when it comes to you.
Exactly. And so I do that. I do it that way. And this one's about, I actually really love this one. It is a girl who is an attorney. I am also an attorney. I don't think I've said that yet. But I don't, I feel more like a writer than
your
an attorney.
Your job does not define you.
Exactly.
Your worth is not measured by your productivity, Erin.
So she is an attorney, and she lives in away from her parents. Her parents live in a small town. She lives in a city, and she is partying a lot, and she's in a really shallow relationship, and she's kind of realizing she wants more because she's getting to the point where she's bored with her life. And so she moves back home to work with her dad's firm for a while, and her sister sets her up on this blind date, and it ends up being like her mortal high school enemy that she just hated, and he wasn't a fan of her either. So they're on this, like, as soon as she walks on the blind date, she pieces out. And then, but because her sister's really good friends with him, or her sister's husband's really good friends with him, they get thrown together a lot. He's also an attorney, so they're like opposing attorneys, opposing everything all the time. And so it's an enemies to lovers kind of situation.
It's serving you that, like,
Josh and Lucy hating game vibes.
Yes, exactly. But not, like, obviously not the same. But
no, they don't work in the same firm. They work in different firms.
It's like serving you that really good hating game vibe. Not to steal it from Heaving Bosoms, because they are the OG. But what are your current lady loves?
I love to take a bubble bath.
This is
with a face mask.
Also consistent with Drunk Blair.
Oh, good. Drunk Blair.
Yep.
We're on the same page here. So, yes, I love taking bubble baths with a face mask. And there's a lot of different brands that I use. So my favorite brand was sent to me by Sally Thorne, because she sent me a book. She sent me 99% Mine signed. And with it, she sent me a little Smurf from the Hating Game. I know, she's an precious. Angel. And then sent me this face mask and, like, wrote on it, "This is my favorite face mask," and I used it, and it is mine too. And I don't know the brand name, and I'm meaning to reach out and ask her, but I can't remember it. And it's one of, like, the face mask actually went on smooth, and it didn't, like, wrinkle or anything, and it covered my whole face, and I could breathe in it.
Is it like a sheet?
So, yes. Yes, it is a sheet. It's not like a, cream or anything, but I loved it. And so bubble baths in that, and like a glass of wine or something, that's always relaxing to me. Also, I'm a big Christmas music.
This is also consistent with Drunk Blair.
I love Drunk Blair. Anyway,
she said mainly though Christmas music.
And I literally just said, "Oh man." That's hilarious.
The consistency is key, though. You know what I mean?
At least I know I'm, like, always me, okay? So, I am very passionate also about mental health, because I am diagnosed bipolar, OCD, and I have anxiety disorder. And I'm very open about it. I'll talk to anybody about it, because I don't think there's anything that benefits for anyone if you hide it. So my therapist, I see a therapist, and she, is like, whatever makes you happy that doesn't harm you or anyone else, do it today. And the only thing that came to my mind was listening to Christmas music. And so now I don't care what month it is. I will pull up my Christmas playlist if I'm having a bad day. And it is wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. I also love that. I also love Christmas music. Usually, like, I'm not in the mood for it. Like, I don't care. Listen to it all year round. Like, I'll never judge anybody, but usually, like, I start, like, September, I'm, like, starting to think about Christmas lists, starting to think about that kind of stuff, and I'm like, yes, this is the time. But all year round,
yes, that's fair.
It's like, there's nothing more positive than Christmas music.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I don't listen to the crappy Christmas songs. Like, no offense to anyone out there who likes it, but, like, Christmas shoes.
Oh no, I will.
It's so sad. It's like, I don't
hate. I'm sorry. You can send your emails.
It's such a passionate
to my email that's not listed on any website. I will immediately turn Christmas shoes off.
It's like, why? Why do you got to make Christmas sad? Christmas is happy for a lot of people.
It is also not my vibe in like regular music. Like, you know what I mean? Other songs that I guess I'm going to go there. I'm just going to talk about
Go
another
there.
Christmas song that I just really don't like. And all of a sudden it's gone now. But see, this is why you don't hate on things, because your brain will immediately zap. Let's talk about favorites.
Is it slow?
Let's talk about your favorite Christmas song.
Okay, my favorite Christmas. Oh, I have so many. Okay, so my absolute favorite, though, is Have Yourself a Merry Little
By
Christmas.
Judy Garland?
Yes, by Judy Garland.
That's actually mine too.
I love it so much. I also love Frank Sinatra's version, but Judy Garland's is 100% better in every way. So I love that song. I also love White Christmas.
Which one? Bing Crosby?
Actually, no, I do love Bing Crosby, but actually Becky, Becky, introduced me to an Otis Redding White Christmas, and it is so good. It has a very Winston Brothers vibe to it. I love it. And I'm trying to think of another one that I was just thinking about. The Carpenters Christmas album is one of my favorites.
I'm always here for a Mariah Carey Christmas album.
Oh, yes.
I'm always here for that. I think that Kelly Clarkson's Wrapped in Red Christmas album deserves honorable mention.
I love Celine Dion's version of Oh Holy Night a little bit more than Mariah Carey's. Oh Holy Night's just so pretty. It's just such a pretty song. But Mariah Carey does it really well too. I've just always favored Celine Dion's a little more.
It's Celine. So
it's Celine. Yeah. Come on now.
Yeah. I think that, well, if you're not in the cult, you maybe didn't get quite the Celine. What would you call it, Blair? It was an interesting couple of weeks. Yeah.
Of It's All Coming Back to Me Now. Wait, didn't you post a video lip singing it?
Oh yeah, absolutely, I did.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Sure. Yes.
So after we started talking about it after they started talking about it on the podcast, I probably listened to it every day and made my whole family listen to it. That. And so my daughter thinks that I sound exactly like Celine Dion when I sing it, and I was like, "You're probably right.
You're accurate."
So reality is alive and well at my house.
It's the first thing you need to say when you meet people. Hi. My mom sings like Celine Dion. So what does your mom do?
Yeah, exactly. My mom lip syncs just like Celine Dion.
Oh, no.
You got to have hand motions. There's a lot of chest. What does she do? She does some chest slapping.
Yeah, and she clutches her heart.
Yeah, absolutely. I would go see Celine Dion in Vegas. I would maybe go to Vegas for that specific purpose.
She's actually coming to New Orleans, but her tickets were so high. I'm just couldn't.
Too cheap. That's the main problem.
The problem is I would do it for only one artist, and it's nothing to do with her talent being more than Celine, because it's not. But Taylor Swift is the only artist that I would pay an absurd amount to see, because she just puts on a damn good show.
Have you seen her before?
Yes.
And it's very good.
Oh my goodness, yes. She is one of the best at I know she has a production team, but it's so theatrical.
Does she lip sync or is it live?
I don't know.
Does it really matter?
I'm never I know. I'm never confident to say, but I will say I remember her sounding a little out of breath during one of her songs on the Reputation tour. And I remember thinking, oh, that's very genuine. So
I always wondered that about Pink, because she does all those acrobatics and stuff. And I'm always like, but you're upside down and you've been spinning and you sound perfectly clear. Is it just a lot of practice? Because I feel like she wouldn't lip sync, and I don't know why I feel that way. But
no, I mean, I feel the same way. And that's kind of Taylor Swift doesn't really do any of cool moves like that. But she has these bracelets. I remember in the 1989 tour was the first time I saw them. And when you purchased a ticket, when you got to the arena, they gave you this white bracelet. And nothing happened with the bracelets in the opening acts. But as soon as the lights all went black in the arena for her, appearance on stage, as soon as the first note played for, I can't even remember what song it was, the entire arena lit up in white because of our bracelets. Gosh. It was the coolest thing, because it was kind of blinding at first, but it just went with the first beat. And it was just I don't know, it kind of gave you chills. And I remember seeing her walk on stage and just tearing up.
You know what? Because you have all the emotions.
So much.
I have that same thing that happens. Like my sister, I go and watch her. She does a lot of like triathlons and stuff like that. And every single time I see her cross the finish line, I'm like, it's old news at this point. Like this is going to be her third one this coming weekend. And I'm like, I'm going to cry again because I'm just like so overwhelmed with like proud feelings and it's just going to come out my eyeballs.
I get it. I'm an emotional person anyway. Like I cry a lot, which is surprising because I'm a Slytherin, but I cry a lot.
Slytherins have emotions. They just maybe use them in a different way.
What's weird is I fight for Slytherins a lot about like, we have empathy, we have sympathy, we're just blah, blah, blah. And then sometimes I give myself the stereotypes like, Blair, toughen up, you're a Slytherin.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if this podcast has gone off the rails or not. We've been talking about all sorts of things for a long time, and that's totally great. But it is now time for the lightning round.
Okay, great.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to try and do these really fast, but I don't know how it's going to work. Okay. Well, we already covered what your Hogwarts house is. Slytherin always, forever.
Always.
Are you an Aaron or a Melody?
First instinct is to say I'm an Aaron. But also on some things I feel like I'm a little bit of a Melody, but I feel like I'm more of an Aaron than a Melody.
Okay.
Which is probably why me and Aaron, what's a good word? Butt heads on the cult page a lot.
Yeah.
But I love her. I love her and I love Melody, but I think I'm more of an Aaron.
Who's your go-to author?
Sally Thorne.
Oh, I knew that.
I know she only has 2 books, but it's just like she's a one click for me. Also, though, I know this is probably not fast, but Lauren Connolly, who's at HB, her You Only Need One is her novel. It's fantastic. And then I got to read an arc for her second one that she's getting published, and it's fantastic. So she would be a one click buy for me. 100%.
I love You Only Need One. I really did.
So
I mean, I bought it because you want to support an HB, but I was like, and every single time I've done that, I haven't been disappointed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, wait. I didn't mean arc. I meant I beta read it. Like,
yeah.
It hasn't been published yet. So I just beta read it before she sent it out.
I'm so not a Romance-landia person or a book person that I had no idea what you were talking. Like, I wouldn't have known that you were wrong.
I just figured somebody'd be like, Blair, it's not an arc. Get it together.
Sorry, there's no way to send emails to this podcast. So,
perfect.
You can't send us any emails about whether or not this is accurate.
Sorry, Clippy.
Sorry, Clippy. Are you bath meal or no bath meal?
Bath meal.
What's your ideal bath meal?
Grapes.
Really? That's an interesting choice.
Yeah.
Cold or like room temperature?
Cold. I like my grapes to like freeze in my mouth.
Like a little bit of frozen grape action?
Or a Pop-Tart. I'll do a Pop-Tart in the bathtub.
Okay, I'm not a bath person, so like I see a lot of bath meal, banter. Also, this podcast is 100% banter. Have you noticed that?
Oh, perfect.
So,
yeah, I love
for those of you out there, I see all the bath meal back and forth, and I'm always like, but I'm a shower person, and I definitely am not going to be taking a shower meal. That's just too messy. Problematic fave book or movie.
Book. Okay, but to say book, I really don't know, and it's just because I do not finish a lot of things that irk me out. So irk me out. I don't know what that means. But movie, I will say, I love the Lifetime adaptation of Flowers in the Attic. And that is a huge, huge problematic fave because it is basically the romantic story of siblings who were trapped in the attic locked in the attic for years by their mother, who is a little unstable. And their abusive grandmother. And because they were both trapped in the attic, they only had each other and they fell in love with each other. And then the rest of the movies follow them after they get out of the attic and try to move on with other people, but keep coming back to each other. And damn it, I root for them every freaking time. And it's just super problematic. It's not me. Any other time, it would be disgusting to me. Not disgusting. I'm not going to say that. Oh, I don't know. But it would be.
Go with your instincts, Blair. I think on this one, your instincts might be correct. I don't know. I mean,
but it weirds me out, and so, but in this movie, I'm just like, screw everything.
Just don't even think of it. Just can't think too much into it. Who
exactly
are there people that you would know in that movie?
the guy. So it's a series, and so
There's more than one of them.
Yeah, so it's like Flowers in the Attic, Petals in the Wind, and it's them growing up and getting older. So I know in one of the movies, so the first movie, the girl is so she plays on Sabrina, the Netflix Sabrina.
Oh, okay.
She is Sabrina, the little blonde girl. She played on the first movie. This other movies, I can't remember. I want to say one was Cheyenne from the Reba show.
Oh, these are some deep dive references right here. And you know them like off the top of your head.
I know. And then the blonde guy is the blonde guy. I don't know why I said that.
Are you referring to his brother, her brother? Okay.
Yes, the brother. God, I was trying to make it less creepy, okay? And so
her brother slash love interest.
Yes. He was the oldest brother on the Chronicles of Narnia movies.
Oh man, these are just real obscure for me. I don't know why I asked. I do not watch any movies. I don't know why I was like, oh, but tell me these actors. Like I'll know who they are. Okay.
But that's all I know. So.
All right, moving on. Moving on from that. What is your favorite carb?
Oh, bread. Garlic bread.
Okay. Cheese or no cheese?
No cheese.
Okay. Do you like it like crispy or a little soggy?
I like it crispy. I don't like anything soggy.
Okay, interesting. I think sogginess has a place in life, but I'll allow you to your crispy garlic bread. I'll have the middles. You can have the outside.
I don't want it to like hurt my teeth, but I just want it to be where there's a crunch.
Yeah, okay. I will respect that opinion about carbs.
I will kind of try to respect your soggy.
Well, so like when you have the whole loaf of bread and you cut it and then you butter the inside with the garlic butter and then you bake it whole so that you get a little bit of the crispy outside, but then the middle is like soft.
Okay, so yeah, I can handle that. That I would probably, if it has garlic and butter on it, I'll probably eat it no matter what. I just need to describe
baked goods in a way that everyone will bend to my will. Who would play you in a movie?
So I have a lot of time to think about this because it's my go-to question. But that being said, no, I think who I would like, I don't know, a dream casting would be Reese Witherspoon because I love her, but she's not me. So I'm going to go with either Kobe Smulders, who plays Robin on How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Or Mae Whitman,
who plays somebody that I don't know.
Mae Whitman played on Parenthood. She played in that movie called The Duff.
Yeah, sure.
She's the main character in The Duff. And she also played in there's a new show right now about 3 women who are like robbing grocery stores.
Okay, I know who you are. She was also in Arrested Development, wasn't she?
Yes, she was in Arrested Development. So that is who I think would probably capture me.
She's
perfectly.
Great. I love her.
Yeah, she is.
I respect that choice.
So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I love Kobe Smulders, but Mae Whitman. There we go.
I have 2 more questions. Okay. This is going to end too soon. I'm kind of sad. If you could dispense one condiment from your belly button, what would it be?
Mayonnaise.
Oh, no. Oh, no, Blair.
That's why I had to stop. It's like, I can't say this. It's weird.
I mean, anybody dispensing any condiment.
I don't know why I didn't say ketchup, weird, right? But mayonnaise was the first one that popped in my head.
Do what your heart tells you. I mean, okay, first of all, I guess I should say second of all because I already said it first of all. But second of all, mayonnaise is not just my hard limit in life.
So sad.
Yes. Yes. Although I guess I should say it had been forever, but I'm growing as a human being, and I was served a sandwich with mayonnaise on it by mistake the other day.
Without complaint.
And I ate it. I know. I didn't even like.
So my husband hates mayonnaise, and if I ask him to make me a sandwich, he literally winces the entire time he's putting mayonnaise on my bread.
Yeah. Oh, I'm here for. Okay, we could bond for hours.
Yeah,
about this.
But topic. I used to. I worked at a diner when I was in high school, and I loved it. And it was like the hangout for everybody. And so this is going to gross you out so bad. But on my lunch breaks, if I didn't have time to eat, I would get a spoonful of mayonnaise.
Oh, Blair. No.
I'm just eating.
Oh God.
Interview over.
I think here's where. Sorry, this has been the Ask a Badass podcast segment. Okay, so here's what happened to me with mayonnaise. I would go to this house after school because both my parents worked, and so this kid that lived at I'm sure he was like a sibling. I don't even know. He was older. He would make mayonnaise only sandwiches with 2 pieces of white bread, and then the mayonnaise would ooze out. I'm losing the only listener we ever had. Would ooze out the sides of it, and I have this visual in my mind forever, and it's this dude eating mayonnaise sandwiches,
I mean,
and I can't.
That is fair because that even is making me like want to hurl a little bit, but
okay,
I know.
You ate just mayonnaise on a spoon can't handle a
I
mayonnaise
can't picture
sandwich.
something oozing out of the side of something. It makes me just. So thank you. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. That visual, that and dispensing it from your belly button are now forever in your brain. Okay. I think I just have one more question. What is your favorite trope?
I'm gonna go with enemies to lovers. I just really like. I usually like it when the guy is kind of arrogant and kind of an asshole. So like Slytherin Hufflepuff romances are my jam. So yeah, enemies to lovers. I just like the conflict and I like the tension. There's like all this like pent up
With a P.
tension. But yeah,
so I
maybe
can edit that out. Maybe
between the two
we'll
people,
find out, I guess.
And then it finally just like reaches peak, and you know they're ready to go. I mean, that's like good. I think that kind of tension is good foreplay. So,
well, all right. We didn't talk about your favorite food.
French fries.
Is it? But that wasn't your favorite carb.
Which is weird, yes.
Yeah.
But when you said carb, oh God, Natalie. Anyway.
Okay, in your food pyramid.
No, I don't. I think
where do French fries fall?
I think I just put French fries with fried food and not with carbs.
Fried food has its own like satellite
noodles,
pyramid.
Potatoes, bread. Not
They
thinking,
are
hey,
potatoes.
I know. Not thinking. Oh wait, Blair. French fries are just fried potatoes.
Well, this is awesome, Blair. Thank you for this interview, and keep being a badass, and love yourself as much as you love heaving bosoms.
Yes, I love it.
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.